Hello everyone. During this particular video we're going to be talking about availability, and again these are case studies or stories to hopefully put this particular concept in perspective. As legend has it, during the 1960s we were really in the infancy of using some of our computer systems. The Department of Defense was actually doing a cutback, and they had a particularly talented computer scientist who worked on the nuclear alert system. And as the story goes, they had given the particular individual about 6 months' notice that his particular position was going to be eliminated. There was no ill will towards the employee. They liked the employee. They couldn't afford the employee. And so 6 months passed, the employee was let go, and about 3 days to 5 days later, on all of the computer screens at NORAD, a huge eye popped up and brought down the entire system. And there was a period of time where our nuclear defenses could not, or nuclear arsenal could not be launched, because there was this huge eye that was looking out at everyone from every computer terminal. And this is an example of an attack on availability. That system went down during that time. And the story was never widely publicized at the time, because our nuclear defenses were effectively down for a couple of days until they were able to eliminate all the code that this gentleman had written during the 6 months period that he was given prior to termination. And it led to adding a new policy by which, when those folks were let go, they would be met at the door with a box of their personal items. The next 2 to 3 months of their salary would be paid in advance. They need not work, but they were not going to allow them access back to a computer system. Another story on availability, and again it goes to point that certain things just at the right time can make all the difference in the world. This goes back to the first Gulf War, and during that Gulf War, the United States sent in its planes initially to destroy the air defenses associated with the Iraqi army. So the Iraqi army had all of these air defense missiles pointed, aimed at taking down American planes coming in. And again, the story goes that the United States built into the ROM of printers codes, a virus that would attack computers, and they built it into printers that would find their way into a air defense site, and thus and there were very specialized printers back then. They're called dot matrix, and they were very high-speed dot matrix printers. So they were sold from a third party to the Iraqis. The Iraqis thought they were buying them from a neutral country, not from the United States. And again, as the legend goes, the viruses were triggered about 20 minutes before the airstrikes began. And as soon as the computers became infected, they would clean them, and then they would immediately become infected again from the printers who were directly connected to the computers. And so again, the story goes that they were fighting that at the time that the warplanes came in, and thus they were not very effective in launching those air defense missiles, especially those the ones from fortified facilities, because they were fighting a attack on the availability of those computer systems as the attack unfolded. All right, there you go. You got two legends out there. Now your challenge is to go and search the web and see, are these urban legends or are they true? Regardless, they should illustrate attacks against availability. Thanks so much for listening, and see you soon.